You're good, Melina. All right, we're online, Facebook and YouTube. Welcome. These shows resonate. Please share. Thank you. What's going on, everybody? Got Melina Ferguson in the house. Hang on. All right. Wait. There you go. What's going on?
Hi, how are you?
What's happening?
What's
Has
not
it been?
happening?
Has it? Yeah. What's not happening? Has it been? Has it been a little bit crazy the last few days?
Yeah,
Has
yeah.
it? Is it just
And
me?
and the dreams. Oh my goodness.
The dreams, the
Yeah,
lucid dreams. Yeah,
yeah. It's yeah, like entering another world, isn't it?
it is. I
Like
was doing
living.
a show. I did another show today with Franco,
Oh,
and
yep.
uh, and so I'm having the show with him, and his face starts changing. And then, because last night I went to the beach and just alone time, and I went to the beach and I had this incredible oneness experience. You know, that moment when you're like everything.
Mhm.
So as I'm having the show with him, it came back to me, and there was a few like galactic beings, different species of galactic beings, like Illyrian. There was a blue ET. I don't know what it was. Anyway, there was these three white, and it came back to me while I was talking to him. There was these three white. They looked like columns or pillars. They weren't like humanoid, of light beings, and it all came back to me. That's the kind of stuff that's been happening.
Mhm.
I mean, to me, like I just felt the need to be alone for like, I didn't realize it when it was coming on, but I did. I took some time alone, and all this stuff's just coming in. And at the same time, you walk out into the human world and you're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking I was talking about that. We were talking about that yesterday about the the actual moment that you're in and having that moment to yourself instead of sharing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so powerful because it takes you out.
Yes. And, Franco brought that up. Franco has like, I don't know if you ever watched any of his shows, but he has like kind of collective intel. But it's
Mhm.
kind of, he tells you you might feel this, you might feel that, in your body. But it was so funny because he said the same thing. He said it even happened to him, and he said that there's nothing to talk about. Like, if you talk about it, it gets all messed up. Just don't talk about it. He said, basically, what's happening is things are being brought up to us. And it's a little bit different now because sometimes you got to go through processes and stuff to clear certain things.
Yeah.
But he says the energy now is it's just basically coming in, and in time it will align. It might take a while.
Yeah. I totally get that. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm teaching my kids that too. Like, when something happens to them, that just be in that moment. It's yeah, they really get that energy.
Yeah. And it's like the new norm. I mean, I guess really, I mean, we know that words are going to go away, but maybe this is the first part of it. People respecting each other's space. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be alone. We've all been doing it these last few years. Everyone I talked to on this show talks about, like, when the quarantine happened, nothing really changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And because I think, we're on such big land and we're in a small town. I've always enjoyed my space, and I think the last couple of months, it's really about fine tuning it, like really just anchoring in, but like expanding out and fine tuning the space and the boundaries as well. It seems really important.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he talked about, like, we're made up of all these layers, both in the human multi aspect and in our multidimensional aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was telling him, as I was talking to him, I was like, this is all coming back to me as I'm talking to you, and they're actually like here. We started talking about, who is this? What does this mean? And so basically, just in a nutshell, our multidimensional aspects connected, we're connected through our soul, are showing themselves, as well as all of our human aspects, right? And we have a choice at any time to go into the old Todd or to the new Todd. One of the old Todds, because there's a lot of old Todds, there's a lot of old Melinas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny you should say that. I had an experience which it was a couple of weeks ago, and it triggered me, and I was like, I had a friend that was teaching her students, and she was like, "Oh, do you want her to read for you?" And I was like, she's like, she'll just bring up three things. I'm like, yeah, sure. And when it came back of what she brought through, it was, I felt like it was old stuff from back then. Like, I'm like, I've done so much work on myself, and it's like, and then I was told it's not about how much work, like not necessarily how much work you've done, but that's just, we are all those aspects, whether she taps into that bit or this bit or that bit, just accept them all. That is all a part of you. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
not
Absolutely, it does.
and leveled up, but those still can be there still can be parts of you, and it's about
Yeah.
accepting all those parts of you and loving all those parts of you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That was a big one. That was like, yeah, okay, that's just embracing the wholeness of me.
Yeah.
That's
So then it becomes, who's running the show? Because I was telling Franco, I was like, so all these different beings, I was standing on the beach. I went to, just chill and connect, and I remember what happened as a human, but then I'm talking to him and it all came back. But I remember all the galactic representatives that were there of the different star families, and these three white beings are there. And I said, hey, wait a minute. Now you tell me this, and you tell me that, and you tell me this, and you tell me that. And they're all like specific to certain acumens, like specialties. Now, who am I supposed to listen to? Can't you speak to me in one voice? And at that moment, because when I started Soulgy, well, when I first went on the streets, I heard I am soul. That's the first thing I heard. I am soul. Like, and it just was drilled into me, like something opened up in me. And I heard the words, I am soul. The energy of I am soul is what you create. And we're now like in this phase, or that we've crossed a threshold. We're in this space of creating, not manifesting, but creating from the creation seed, from that energy. Yeah, it was heavy. And then it came back to me during the show, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to say something, because my whole back was chilled. I mean, it was just like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I know
Have
those feelings.
Have you had any like major downloads the last few days? And double question, have you had any human roller coaster moments?
Yeah. So after our last show, I went through a massive shift. Like all this, I was overwhelmed. Then I went into, oh my God, this is too much. um, and then I knew that I had to. So I went and had a balance, and then I came out, and I was like, because the self-sabotaging can come in and just go, you've had it all before. It can easily, just the old story of being, it can be ripped away, but it's
Yeah.
like, no, that's done and dusted. we've got to we've got to come right back in, and that's when I had that vision, as soon as I came out of the masculine and feminine, walking into the new earth,
Yes.
with the new earth in the palms, holding it in the palms of their hands and walking towards the sun. And I was like, wow. And it just kept coming through and coming through. So I had to get it out on paper as much as I could draw. Um, and then Ben is actually in the middle of doing a canvas painting of it. So
Oh wow.
that was really powerful. And then other stories were coming in, just old stories going back to my childhood, where I go, okay, so because it's that you wake up and you're like, oh, I feel weird, like something's like, it was just wave after wave after wave, and I'm just like, so I'm like, is this mine? And I traced it back down to my childhood, and then I really went with like phrases of words that I was given as a child, and just old stories that go back, felt like even past lives, and I zero pointed it, and I looped them in and out all through every aspect, parallel, multidimensional, future, past, everything. And I woke up the next morning and I felt completely grounded in my body.
Mm.
And I thought, and it integrated for the next couple of days, but I could no longer, for the first time in my life, and I can remember, I could no longer grab onto that story. Like,
Yeah.
the mind goes, oh, it takes you back into the narrative, and
Yeah.
and it just plays there. It was like it was trying to do that, but there was nothing to grasp onto. It was phenomenal. Like, it was the most amazing experience, because I'm really witnessing, this has been deleted. you can't go back there. It's gone. Like, I really went in and did the work. So that was really powerful. and then and then after that, there was it felt like a really clear path had opened up, and I felt like I was really anchored into the crystalline grid of the earth, and I was bringing up, but also bringing in down this grandmother energy.
Yeah.
Um, or more like the grandmothers beyond were whispering in my ears. So
Wow.
that's really interesting.
Wow. No, I'm going to tell you something. A couple of people said, "Can you turn your volume up?" I don't know. Are you on a phone or a laptop?
I'm on my laptop. Do you want me to put my earplugs in?
That might,
Do I have-
yeah, let's see what happens. No, I'm right with you on this, and I'm getting something else coming in. I want to tell you about it.
Is that better?
Oh, God, yes. Okay, we're good.
Sorry.
So, the first thing is, I saw an image the other day, and I didn't realize you did it. And I just came to understand that. It was a blue, and it was
Yeah.
it's actually what you're talking about. I don't know if you want me to share that on here, but I can if you want me to.
Image?
Yeah, you did some kind of
Yes, that's
okay.
my. So
So
I can't draw as like I see the vision, but I had to get it on paper. Like
yeah.
had
So
to be drawn on paper so I could get the words out and
yeah,
the vision into Ben's sphere.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's another thing that came up when you were talking. So a few weeks ago, Morgan said to me, you know, these posts, you know how the posts come up, Facebook memories, and they come up what you wrote a year ago, she said, I've noticed that stuff that I wrote 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, they apply on the anniversary in that period. Like the same energies are presenting themselves, right? So just right before the show, I was sharing some memories, and there was one from 2 years ago, and it's about us being around a fire, me and Morgan and a friend of ours. And when that was happening, we were doing something. I remember, Morgan, we were doing something around the fire, but I went out and I actually had written this post about it, and I didn't even remember it. But it's talking about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's virtually saying the same exact thing that you're saying. And what I did when I shared it, I said, we all know now that things happen first in the energetic field. And I said, I think this is actually happening now, which
Mm-hmm.
is what you're talking about, which is what that picture's about, which I'll pull up. Um, you know, it's actually happening. It's actually physically happening. That grandmother, that great mother, mother goddess voice is whispering to all of us energetically. That's a metaphor, you know, energetically that's happening. And the masculine has the feminine has energy has risen, and the masculine is there, just like you got.
Yeah.
And
And when I was doing that, because the looping, everything was Morgan's invitation. But the way that my higher self came in and showed me the looping, and then the um, um, higher dimensions and the underworld. Yeah, so there was 3 levels. They showed me 3 levels of the sun and the plasma light that was coming down, and their king and queen.
wow.
Yeah, walking through, like,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
And so when the loops came, I mean, when it came in, then you ran it through all the loops, because that's like a multi-dimensional uh, addition to Morgan's process. So you actually
yeah.
started going out and
Oh,
playing all the loops, and then you actually
I
invocated
felt,
each loop.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And it was just waves, because before that was happening, I was looking at my kids, I was looking at Ben, and even when I said, even when I said Ben, like leading up to all this, it felt so foreign. Like, I was looking at my kids and going, who are these people? Like, I just felt so separate, and like, it was the weirdest feeling. Like, I was neutral for a moment in time where I was like, what is going on? And then I just dived right in, and I went deep and deep until I found phrases that my parents had said, both on both sides, and that's and I looped the phrases in and out, and then it just and then I woke up and I'm like, and then I rolled over and I looked at Ben, and I'm like, oh, I felt like I've not that comes, but I've got a big, like it was amazing.
Wow.
So yeah, that was last week. That was pretty cool. And then and then I had and I think a good friend of mine, she won't mind me sharing this, but we did a session, and it's not even about the session with her, but where the level of where we were taken was beyond the 12th dimension. We went high, and that is, I think that's what's available now. Like, we're no longer talking about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We went out there and we brought it all back in. It was amazing.
I love this.
Sure what's going on.
I'm not sure what's going on. I love this image because it kind of brings everything in, right? It's got these eyelashes, the sun, the eyelashes, the feminine. Then you got the two genders. You got the earth in the middle. You got the Vesica Pisces. You got the infinity sign, and you got the trees and the grass. It's very cool. So you've actually, have you painted this fully yet, or you're working on it? I didn't catch that.
So Ben's done a couple of rough drafts, and now he's putting it on canvas.
Oh, wow.
A big canvas. Yeah.
So you draw it and he paints it?
Well, no, I don't even draw it, but this one I had to get out because I just had to put it on paper, and then so he could see what I was actually, because I had to go back in and level the sun. Like there's the sun, and then you go in the sun. I don't know how to explain it. Is it like the great potential sun or something? And then there's another layer to the sun, but beyond the sun. So I had, like, there was three layers going in and in. So yeah, that's
far. Well, I think you did great, and even with the gold color on the people, that's cool.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how he brings it through, because like, I had to make sure, and I had to say to him, we're not separate, but the feminine is who she is, the masculine is who he is. They're both their individual aspects, but they have one mission, and it's to bring in together this new earth, and that's how their union begins. So yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. And that's what that story from 2 years ago was talking about. That's what the whole experience was. It was the mother goddess energy coming back through divine union, and I don't know how it all went, but it actually occurred around that fire, and it's just the energy of the same thing. Julie Dara Roberts just put this up. She said, I noticed the bifurcation that happened with the eclipse in August of 2017. We basically planted seeds for ourselves back then, and now we are seeing the blossoms, the fruit of what we planted then. Mm-hmm. So that's she's describing that cycle that Morgan was talking about. Yeah. Where the energies, as we go around, the spiral, the energies are the same. Yeah. We're just a little bit more educated.
And I don't know about you, but I feel like I've done a lot of time traveling. You get definitely. That feeling when you come back, like you just stand there for a second, going, something felt like it should have happened. Yeah. It didn't, and I felt like I was a part of, hang on, wait, there's something going on. Like, you're like, yeah, there's something that you felt that in the sphere, but like you felt like something's happened, but then you've changed it, and then you've just realized it in that moment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't know how to explain it.
It's a WTF moment. But see, and I was, and I was telling Franco this too when I came back from the beach, and it's the same thing you're talking about. What you said about the time traveling and being in other places, I mean, it's been right there, like right on the tip of your mind's tongue. When I came back, I was told lay down and travel. That's all I heard, just travel. So I said, okay, where am I going? And so as it was happening, I don't know how that works, right? In other words, I was understanding what they were saying as it was happening. Basically what it was I went to this planet and I grounded my feet in the planet near whatever aspect is connected to me there, right? It was this whole thing. But the message of it was that you're going to be doing this, and it was, of course, metaphoric, but you're going to be doing this energetically. You're going to be visiting or merging or whatever with other aspects of your multidimensionality. And this is part of what's happening right now, is that we're actually acknowledging what you're talking about with the goddess energy coming, the divine union, that accelerator in the growth of the new earth, or however you want to put it, but also having the memories, the code, if you will, of our multidimensional aspects. And this is going to become like like normal conversation.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. Yep. Yeah. So it's quite incredible. I think I was prepared in 2018 after a couple of major things happened to me, and I was put on my butt by the universe.
Just once? Or did you get the machine gun approach?
Yeah, I got the machine gun. There was a few incidences that happened, and then bang, I was literally I lost my license, and I was completely grounded for several, all up about 9 months. But it showed me so much of what I was holding on to, what I was, what I needed to let go of. And then it was preparing me for these moments, for this time, because I let go of so much. And in all of 2019, I was like, I no longer want to, because you can recall so many past life memories, and you were this and you were that, and it can be like glamour. Yeah, like it can be like, oh, that's cool, and it can take you back there, you know, or someone could say, oh, you were this in a past life, or you did this, or whatever. But I was getting told literally, it's an illusion, it's a distraction. That was my mantra all through 2019. It's an illusion, it's a distraction. Everything I went to do, it's an illusion. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's like, get off this, get off that, don't do. And it's like, if you still want to create the new earth, then you need to release everything that you've ever known about yourself.
Yeah.
Show me how I can step into something completely brand new. So that's what I was like literally asking for. Show me something that's never happened on this planet before. How do I step into that? So that was me in 2019. And I literally had to let go of everything. And it was so hard, like my business, the way I was doing things, and it was, all the healing modalities. It was like, if it hasn't been done here before, then so you have to be an open vessel. And
you have to be. And that's the true definition of a full-time job, because when it comes up, whenever it comes up, you got to deal with it. It has to, you have to go there, just like you ran all those multiple loops, which is fascinating, because that process, like as I've been exposed to it, is people. You know, you pull up your mother, your father, and exes, and it's a very intense process. And then uh, other things like, you know, different like love and hate, and you know, more of a general type of thing. But now you're saying actual phrases, like, you know, that's pretty powerful.
Mm.
Like, you know, go outside, go to your room, yeah, go to sleep, you know. I mean, as a little kid, you know, like you're laying in bed and you're scared or something happens, and you call your parents, instead of them coming over and comforting you, they're like, go to sleep.
Yeah.
So those, I can see where those, you know, that was pretty cool. I learned
Yep.
something.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, another thing that Franco was talking about, it's the same thing that you went through in 2019. And he was talking about how the energy right now is one where we're, you know, veils are being removed and we're actually seeing the victim story that we've all had, right? And how it actually was perfection, and how it actually, um, you know, had a point to it. And so, you know, how they're not attaching like they used to. It's happening, you know, collectively it's happening. Individuals can speed it up, I'm sure, but that's going away. It's just not playing anymore. It doesn't last.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it's yeah, you can't hold on to it anymore.
Mm-mm.
You just,
Mm-mm.
people are picking it up, and even the relationship with my parents have changed, like, because I'm doing the work,
Yeah.
and taking full responsibility for everything
Yes.
that I say and do,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm having really good conversations and connecting more, even though they're interstate. It's a wider open conversation, which
Yeah.
is really nice.
Well, you know, as I learned going through that process of hers, when your energy changes, it actually changes those energies that are in the circles around you,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I mean, it's true. It's very true. That's why one of the things I've noticed lately is when an energy comes into the field that's whatever, just not, you know, not aligned with my energy, it just goes away.
Yep.
You know, like water on a duck's back, it just goes away.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. I think the telepathy is moving at warp speed, and probably as fast as it can move, and that's, I think, got a lot to do with the level or the speed which is increasing of our ability to process, because we are starting to rely more and more on intuition, I think.
Yeah, you can't escape anything in my house.
Right.
My
Yeah.
kids pick up everything. It's unbelievable. I had a tech done with the crystalline grid here the other day, and by the afternoon, I did in the afternoon, and then by the evening, one of my middle son was about to go to sleep, and he comes out and goes, the whole of the walls disappeared in my room, and I can see a grid with sparks of light. Now, when I did that tech, that's exactly what I saw. So he is able to see what's happening as well. So I'm just like, it's, whatever we do, whatever I do, it's been transferred.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
That's phenomenal too, that like you're seeing it third eye or in dimension or in the energetic field. And he's actually, I mean, are these kids third eyes and normal eyes integrating, merging? I mean, he's
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
Now I've got to be careful what I do.
You don't want them to have X-ray vision.
Well, yeah, and then so this was a couple of days ago, and then I did this. What is it was like a 0 point meditation, and it came up the spine and it came out the head like a fountain. And then he goes to bed, same kid, goes to bed, and he comes into our room and he says, I've got this tingling at the base of my spine. It's like a spider crawling up my back. And I just look at Ben and I'm like, oh my God, like, is he going to have a Kundalini awakening?
Oh my God, this is getting interesting.
I have to stop doing, like,
Yeah, you better
where do
be
I
careful.
go? Have I got no privacy?
Yeah, you better be careful in sacred sex. If your heart chakra has a soulgasm and your son comes running, oh my God, my heart, I'm having a heart attack.
What do you do? I mean, geez, it's crazy. It's crazy. So there is a big, I mean, they're confirmations for me that stuff's happening. But when your kids
Yeah.
pick up on this,
Yeah.
it's very
Well,
interesting.
I mean, if you think about it, like if we're all transmitters, like receivers and transmitting at the same time, like these kids are cleaner. Plus, your kids are in this environment that's like, like a fantasy. You've got your own land over there. You've worked that land. You've integrated with that land. They're part of it.
Yep.
So that's some powerful, powerful energy. I mean, I know you talked about what your plans are with it, but obviously, energetically, you're building it, and that energy is already there.
Yep. Yeah. I want to talk about, and I'm allowed to talk about this now, because back to, the conversation where we said, when you do stuff, you just do it, and then it's not really, you just let it be. But so around our summer solstice, so around December, I was instructed to, and I didn't know really what was going on about setting up these. So when I had that activation in my hands about this, there were crystal cities and then stargates. And then in December, I got a message from my team to say, we want you to set up these crystal cities all over Australia. And I was like, I don't know what that means. And then it's like, oh, if you can go into Melbourne, and then we'll show you how to do each one remotely. And I was like, okay. And then so, I've got a family. I'm pretty busy, so I couldn't really work out a time to go in. So by the time I'm like, I think I'll go, then we sort of all started having this lockdown, shut down in cities and all that sort of thing. And I said, how am I going to go do it in the city? What do you want me to do? And so I went into the labyrinth, which when I set it up, I had created all these portals and ley lines around the earth. And so I sat in there, and was this in February or March when I actually sat down and did it. And they showed me to go, so I went into each city and set up these, it's almost like a point in the city, but then I was taken into inner earth, but then just above the city. And I set up these like crystal city stargates. And then when I went around them, and they all linked over like rainbows into Uluru, but then under. So it looked like a big sort of chakra system. And then I did all that, which was all good. And then a couple of weeks later, I worked out that I completely forgot. Have you heard of Hobart?
No, what is that?
Tasmania.
Yes.
Yeah. So I can, for some reason, and it was not even in my vision, and I can understand why now, but I'd forgotten to go there. And then I went there on this particular day and did this particular activation. And then it linked up, but under the waters, and then back into Uluru. And connected to the dolphins and the whales, and then around the Ring of Fire, and everything led back into Hawaii, which was really interesting. Anyway, my story being that these crystal cities. So I saw that Sandra Walters was doing a Stargate workshop the other week, and I decided to watch, do the replay, and the way that she spoke about the Stargates was exactly the Stargates that I had been asked to set up in
Wow.
cities of. So, like the information,
That's powerful.
the confirmation connects.
Mm.
So whatever we're doing here in Australia or whatever happens is also like stuff that, all the stuff that's going on in each country. I think everybody's been instructed to do these grids, these codes,
and other things. Yeah. But I mean, that's really powerful. Like, I mean, we grew up in a world where, like, what do you do for a living? And, and the reason I say that is because now we're in a space where, like we talked about a minute ago, these things will become normal conversations. This work that you're describing, that you've done, and Sandra and her people do, and many other, particularly women around the world, that's like the most important, some of the most important stuff going on right now. I mean, obviously the inner work is paramount to everything. Tuning in is important, but this work being done in the energetic field by these women around the world, and this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
But one of the things that's happening, I think, is situations like this where you find out that somebody on the other side of the world's doing the same thing you're doing at the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was really interesting. The description of these crystal seeds, but they are octahedrons and they spin, and so they it makes sense that they're all connected around Australia and then around the world for this new Earth that we're building.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah,
and that's what's Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and the connection to Hawaii, but it felt very Lemurian.
Yes.
The whole, but it was on a new level of Lemuria or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that resonates. We spent 10 months there, and you talking about it. I mean, I can see. I guess we can all see more and more connectivity. But it's so interesting because we are in physical bodies, but we're discovering our non-physical consciousness, or whatever you want to call it, and we're discovering collectively our abilities to create in that energetic field. Not just learn from that energetic field, but actually create in that energetic field. And I mean, if all this work's been being done and has been being done for years, we've got to be getting to a point where these two aspects, the physical and the non-physical, are going to merge.
Yeah.
There's Marita, and she's over in Israel. She did that for 20 years. When she came on the show the first time, she's never been out, in public. And that was her story. And her story is so, similar to so many women that have come on here, which was 20 years ago, I started this. I got estranged from my family. I don't know how I made a living, but money is just what I needed would come. And I went here and I went there. But the work was always being done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just follow the guidance, don't you?
So it's important. It's very important. And like I said, there's other, I don't want to say templates, but there's other streams of creative construction, whether it be new modalities, whether it be new mediums, media venues, that type of thing. So we're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. We're doing it. It's just the physical part of it, the creation coming into the physical matter, has obviously been delayed. It takes longer, but I think that's moving a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And you see a lot of people doing like what you and Ben are doing, your family's doing over there. There's like a lot of people's plans are coming to fruition in a very organic way,
Hmm.
because that's the only way it's going to be allowed. You can't go, you have to flow right with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Ben, when are we going to get Ben on?
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I've got him in boot camp at the moment.
Do you really?
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
him in
yeah.
the boot camp I went to?
I'm
Tell him
getting
he's
there.
tell tell him he's the second man to go through that boot camp, and tell him that it's well worth it.
Well worth it, absolutely.
It's,
Yeah,
it,
we've had a massive shift.
yeah.
Like, yeah, it's on a whole new level now. It's pretty cool.
Well, and it continues, right?
Yep,
I mean, it
continues.
really does.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, it's very cool.
I mean, and to be doing it in these energies as well. I mean, somebody should get a dinky button for that. you
There's
know,
no options. You've got no
functioning at
options in
all sometimes.
life. Yeah.
It's a crazy kind of energy because it seems, well, to me anyway. I mean, a lot of different, like in the last 10 days, a lot of different energies are presenting themselves, and they're both earthly, non-physical, galactic. There's just a lot of information dancing around your field, or that's how it's been for me.
Yep.
But it's like we can we can understand that it's all happening. We don't have to know everything, that's happening like we used to, because
Yep.
when it used to come in, it was just very singular and like, okay, you're going to do this and you're going to do that, or this past life memory or whatever it was. But this seems to be like a lot of information. I feel like we're being prepared for a pretty big elevation. I think it's going to happen in the summer.
Yep. Yep. That's right. And the heart, my gosh, the heart palpitations. And every time it feels like a new string of tonal frequencies is amping up for you. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
very hard to explain, but it's like
Yeah.
we're into a new rhythm now. Yeah. So it feels very
It makes you, does it make you feel like you can't breathe? That's what it does to me.
when it does that big jump
Well,
and you go,
yeah,
yeah,
it feels like, yes, it almost feels like, well, like it stopped for a second.
yeah,
Like, because
yeah,
it feels like there's a vacuum, and it always, I can always tell I'm not just imagining it, because
yeah,
once it starts again, about 2 seconds later, this thing goes up into my throat.
yeah, 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 yeah. And that's the beat of the new earth, yeah, you think? That's just, we beat with her. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I think it's going to be. You brought up Sandra. She's talking about this 3 eclipse period, and I think one of them is coming up pretty quick. I know one's on the solstice in
yeah,
June, but energetically speaking, like that's a sign. She's detecting the sign. She's tapped in. But I just have a feeling that, because I know Franco had been talking about June since the end of last year, and
yeah,
I'd always ask him about it. He'd say, "I can't tell you. I can't
yeah,
tell you about it." But when I had the show with him today, it was the first time he actually said the theme for June is renewal, but like
yeah,
not like human definition of renewal, more of like resurrection, or working with that pure creation energy. And we know who we are. The renewal is a new us, you know like a
yeah,
new expression, like you were saying, something new, something different, something that hasn't been done.
yeah, yeah. That's the only way I feel that we can create. When I
Yeah.
was doing a meditation, and I remember it because I thought about it on Monday, and it reminded me of June. I was just sitting outside in the sun, just closing my eyes, and suddenly Merlin appears. And he's like, "We've got to go." we've got to join the dragons. And I'm like, okay. And so we went, and I felt like, I can't even imagine where we went. It felt like very inner earth. And there was a big council happening, and they were preparing us for, and I was being told 2020. And I remember, and they were saying there's big earth changes happening, and you're all being prepared. It's in your DNA, you're coded, you'll know what to do. And I remember having this feeling of 2020 in June, but the memory, when you come out of something so big like that, and then everything sort of just starts fading from the information that you were given.
Yes, and you're going, did I? Yeah.
It's like, what was that? yeah, and it just sort of, I can't. Like,
you're sitting here talking about it, and I'm thinking about, I don't know, probably 4 nights in the last 7 or 8 days I've been with Merlin, and I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm going, did it really happen? That whole thing starts because it's not as crisp, right?
Yeah, I think he purposely touches you, and he's like, just fade away.
Yeah, right.
Like something, cheeky, Merlin. So I just, and then it came into my mind on Monday. I'm like, June, that feels
June?
big. June.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, it really does. In a really good way,
But expansive, yeah? Like, expansive.
Yes, very expansive. Yeah, when we talked today, we talked about the wow factor, the overwhelming factor. I mean, I can kind of feel like not overwhelming, like knocks you off your square, but I mean, like over the last few weeks, there's been times good overwhelming, like, whoa, like, you're just like vibrating.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like we're doing it as fast as we can.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it feels to me. Like we're getting as much as we can handle. And I think that's one reason we have the downtime. A lot of people talked about the last couple of days and even the last week sleeping a lot. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that doesn't happen to me.
It doesn't happen to you.
No, I don't sleep. Like, I just straight away, I just go into dream state, like zipping off, doing lots of interesting things. And I wake up exhausted in the morning, so I'm busy.
Yeah, the mornings are an MF. I wake up feeling like probably not the right word, but like I've been in a fight. Like
like your body aches. Like my shoulders.
Yeah, my shoulders are always. It's my neck and my shoulders, but the when I know I've been, and I know it's not the way I slept, it's my shoulders. My shoulders are always. Occasionally it'll be my neck, and it'll pop during the day, but I feel like, people talk about wings and, flying and this and that. I don't know, but I know it. I always feel it there.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's something to that. We're very active right now. I think, like I can feel it. I can feel it. It's I don't know. It's nothing I could even explain. I just know it. It's alignment.
Mm-hmm.
That's to me, that's probably the thing I'd say. It's alignment. And it's coming in faster and faster and faster.
Yep. Yep. I feel like I'm zipping here, there, and everywhere. Oh, and I land back in.
Yeah.
And that's during the day.
Yeah. And so have you had like like I know you do stuff on a local level. I know you do stuff online, but I mean, like, have you had a lot of have you been in touch with a lot of people locally since this whole thing's gone down? Or even now, like in the last week or two?
Like
just, people that you
physically?
Well, yeah, well, people that are in the local area, people that are due. No. You're like all of us. You just live in a cave.
Yeah. I haven't come out of my cave yet, really. Like, I mean, our kids go back to school in 2 weeks.
Oh, cool.
So that's going to be very interesting for them. Right in the middle of June. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I might start seeing, I have started opening up my, I will have opened up my studio again in June. So if anyone wants to come through, but I'm not pushing it.
Yeah.
Like I'm just soaking up these moments, in these now moments. That's the most important to me.
Yeah, the pushing doesn't complement this energy that we're anchoring.
No, because in January, February, I had all these people lined up to hire the studio out for events and bookings and clients and meditation circles, and that just all stopped. And I'm not searching for that anymore. Like, I'm not pulling any of that in anymore. I'm just, everything's going well. That's how I feel.
What about these essences? These essences that you create?
Yeah.
What are those?
So
what categories do you have? What prescriptions can you fill?
All I've ever done is open up and align with the current energies. But even when I was doing that, I was pulling in things that were for now. So for the last couple of years, I would be initiated for the first 2 weeks in that energy.
Okay.
And then I would be able to fully bring it into. So I basically fill up water. I put it in my labyrinth. The energy just pours through me and out my hands and through my voice, and then it just all infuses into the water. And anybody can do this. Like, it's just all set with intention.
Yeah.
And the codes, and it just comes in, and then it's just, it was for the heart. It was for forgiveness, compassion. Last year I made one from the 2 water wells of Glastonbury, and they were 3. It had to be opening, expansion, and creation. And then I'm like, this is exactly what we're all going through now. We're opening the heart, expanding, and we walk into creation. So everything that's come to me has, it's just like it's dropped in. It's like that. This will be awesome for now, and then I just channel essences for personal soul development.
Oh wow! So you like, people go to an energy practitioner and they get a soul reading, or they get, what they call it, a birth chart, or just a lot. But so you can connect with somebody and create an essence for them.
Yeah. Like it just comes through, and I put it all in the water, and then I send it off with a message, and then they just take it for the next month.
That sounds better than ayahuasca.
I haven't had that. Is it good?
Well, I did it by myself. I would never recommend you do that.
Right. Cool.
But, yeah. I don't know if you need it, to be honest with you.
I don't think so. No. I had a Wachuma in Peru. It was about heart opening. That was beautiful.
Yeah. What was it?
Wachuma.
What is that?
It's like a cactus plant.
Really? I never heard of that.
Yeah, Wachuma. It's San Pedro, and it opens up your heart. Very beautiful.
What's your website?
It's wiseoldseeds.com.
Oh, you're Wise Old Seeds.
I'm Wise Old Seeds.
Thank you for your continued love, support, contributions. Wise Old Seeds. I didn't know that was you. Is it wiseoldseeds.com?
Yeah.
Okay. I keep seeing that on my notifications. Like, I know who that is, but I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
Let's see if it comes up. Yeah. Right on. Here, you mind if I pull it up?
No, yeah.
Okay, just in case anybody wants to check out Oh, you're Gaelic. Hmm. Very cool.
Bit of this and a bit of that.
So they can go into, well, they can contact you here, and
Yeah.
they can go into your shop here.
Yep.
But I guess they'd want to contact you if they wanted to get an essence. Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool.
Thanks, Todd. That's lovely of you.
Yeah. We're all here to help each other. And
Yeah.
on that note, on that comment, this is how we do it. You know, this is how we support each other. I mean, it's time to pay it forward, all of us. And
you're off soon, are you? You're traveling?
I'm leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
I'm
excited?
Yes, I am very excited. I got something to do, and I'm going to do it. That's all there is to it. And I got to be alone to do it. Yeah, I was originally going to go see I'm going to go see my brother. I hadn't seen him in over 10 years, and his wife. I haven't seen her in 15 years. In Charlotte, North Carolina, and then I'm going to head over to outside of Atlanta and hang out with the dude that came down and visited. And then I'm going to go to Memphis and hang out with Keith Anthony Blanchard and do a couple of radio shows. And then I think, I'm not sure, I'm about 50-50. I'm either going to go to Arkansas 4 hours away on Monday, or I'm going to go up to the Blue Ridge Mountains about 6 hours away and maybe hang out there for 2, 3, 4 days.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Yeah. I feel like I need a rest.
Yep.
It's been a long haul.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long haul. There was a lot of, there wasn't a lot of downtime, but there was downtime because of my situation, our situation. But about February last year, we got this place in Hawaii, and pretty much from there, it's been nonstop. So I just feel like I need to chill a little bit. But I think that's the energy right now. I think people, it was nice to hear Franco talking about it because it was more specific to the personal experience. But it's like I still say I think we're being prepared for something, and I want to be prepared. So whatever the hell it takes, I'm doing it. So I expect to be making marshmallows with Sasquatch and the elders.
It's funny. I see an image of you, and I feel like you're surrounded by like a crystal bed in the forest or something.
Well,
yeah.
Either that, or be like those yogis, and I'll lay on a bed of nails to make the transition, to make the transformation. Well, it's really cool talking to you. I really dig talking to you. You really, really have a really nice frequency, as several people have commented.
Thank you.
And just as a reminder, everybody, this is, where'd she go? Wait a minute. Wise Old Seeds, right?
Right.
Wise Old Seeds. Here we go. Yeah. And these essences, do you have like a stock of them, or do you make them up as you are contacted by people?
The personal ones I make up on the spot, but I have the mother essences of all the others available.
Right on. Is that detailed in the shop, like the different ones? Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. All
right.
of them, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Hey,
So,
do you have enough time? Have you got like 5 minutes? I feel like I need to.
Whatever you.
Right
yeah,
now.
I was just getting to that part.
I'm traveling again.
Yeah, floor is yours.
I feel like there's a transmission coming through. Is that all right if I share? Would everybody be happy? How many can you tell me how many people are online? Just so I can...
There's about, let's see, 65, 70 people.
Okay, cool. I've never done this before, but I feel like I've been guided. So I'm just gonna try it. So just like it's like an energy transmission. So all right. Area leeki aswa yakala lele miatru ya uya kona le fia sala le ya no kuruya anaya la ya te ne la ya da yuturuya Ayana Yana Rakui Te Tayanaya. Uilia Tala Leia Tarayana Ne. Uia Terayama no Kuri. Alea Taria Hanaria Neria Taria Yea. Oriutu Yetea Toroyo no Torio Tera. Ayatorio Toruia. Taya Nanaya Nanaya. Ayalea Rea Taria Taru Tukuya Mokoya Eakaya Taya. Ayata Ekuria Sananana Kayata. Aya Alefia Tara Umushikuya Taya. Iatara Ananayata Akaliatre Kiatara Asuya. Uyate Atariata Nakayata Ayate Kiate Ayatsadaraya. Iata Anukuya Kul Euyate Piate Kiata Sayata Anayata Kayato Ukuru. Okuri Akuri Ete Ananana Atayata. Ayatsataya Kayata Udiata Nanayate Kiata. Ariata Kusta Kaya Pataname Kuyata. Thank you. That had to come out.
You didn't have a bottle of water near you, did you? send me that one. That was
I was holding on to that.
Yeah, I could tell you were. Yeah, that was like a I don't know, like an all around, tune up. Like every frequency was hit. Yeah, very cool.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Jed Riverstone said that, wow, that was so strong, I almost shifted my pants. So that was very lovely, very lovely. Thank you for honoring us with your presence and with that incredible, whatever you call that. I don't know what that was. It was beyond an activation.
Yeah. It feels like that was that that grandmother, and it felt very tribal.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes, that was one of them. Yeah, but definitely, primordial.
Yeah.
And then there's another part of it that's, I don't know, I would say like primitive primordial, but other planetary, or maybe even other universe. I don't know. Very old though. Very, 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 very ancient. So very cool. So I'll get back to Arkansas sometime next week. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit you up and Hugh and Ben up. actually, tell them I've been through the boot camp, and tell them that if you'd like to talk about it in front of our brothers and sisters, I'll be more than happy. If he wants to be raw, vulnerable, and real, I mean, hell, I'd probably start crying. That's powerful, though, that you're doing it, that he's doing it, and you're both, living examples, and that energy's felt by everybody. Yeah. So thank you. Best to you and your clan over there and your paradise, and I'll see you next time. I look forward to many, many, many more collaborations if you'll have us.
Lovely, beautiful, and have a beautiful trip, you and Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan's flying. I'm driving. Yeah. So she's gonna have like 4-hour layover, but other than that, she should be good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's all good. But thank you.
I'll see you at the end of June.
Yeah, the end of June.
Yeah.
I might be a totally different person.